Well, good afternoon, and thank you for stopping by. I'm Captain Lee Collins with the National Flight Training Alliance based in Washington, D.C. And first, before I say anything else, let me say happy holiday season to everyone and a very happy new year coming up. It was just within the last couple of days that members of the staff and I were discussing what a very busy year it's been for our organization over the course of 2024. And in fact, how much busier now 2025 will be by comparison, simply because all that has transpired before has set us up for even more amazing things for the flight training industry in this country. Now, those of you who are familiar with us know this story, but some of you who may have just stopped by for the very first time would benefit to know that we are a very young organization, 3 years old, as a matter of fact, probably the youngest alphabet group in all of aviation, but the premier and preeminent organization representing flight training interests in this country. Our founders are long-term aviation professionals, long-time flight training providers in this country, got together a number of years ago because the hole that had existed amongst the voices and the chairs in our industry for so many years had gone to a point where there was no clear vision, there was no clear direction being given to this industry to help meet the mandates from other sectors of our industry, as well as the government mandate handed down by Congress in 2010 to produce the finest, safest, most high-quality aviators in the world, and to try to do so with the eliminating the barrier to entry, which is generally cost, to the best of our ability. And we think we have done a very good job in the last 3 years, is that stepping into that breach and helping to articulate that vision and that message, and working with others in aviation to, as I love to say, and you'll hear it one more time, yes, a rising tide gathers all boats. If we have the opportunity to work with our partners throughout other sectors, both in general aviation and the end users, airlines, business aviation, the military, and etc., everyone will benefit. And so we have spent a tremendous amount of time over the last 3 years, not only crafting that vision, but articulating that vision and stepping into this space based in Washington, where we are present each and every day, each and every week to make this vision a reality. Now, in 2024, an awful lot happened, and that wasn't by accident. From the very beginning of this organization, we had set ourselves up to, as I said a minute ago, articulate that vision. Well, much of that vision needed to be crafted through the FAA reauthorization bill, which was being looked at throughout 2023 and 2024, ultimately passed earlier this summer. We had no less than 6 different objectives that we wanted to obtain or to make sure we got some sort of work done on, if not fully resolved, through that legislative vehicle. And we are very happy to say that 5 of those 6 were addressed directly in the bill. One is one being dealt with separately right now, which I'll discuss in just a minute. It's important to recognize that there was a lot to get done, and not every year you're going to be able to get 5 or 6 things done in a reauthorization. If you get 1 or 2 of your main objectives accomplished, you're probably doing very, very well. But there was so much fertile ground to plow here, and we had such a great partnership with members of Congress and their staff that we were able to get very, very lucky. Now, I'm not going to be so bold as to say we were the only ones responsible. There were other partners in the industry who were working on very similar objectives as we were, but at least 2 of those were our language, initiated by us and shepherded by us from beginning to end. And I feel very, very proud of that because our people worked very, very hard. So just over a year ago, at the end of 2023, we were honored with being selected as a participating member of the FAA Administrator's Pilot Mental Health ARC, the first ever of its kind, and something that has been long overdue. And so we spent the entire first quarter of 2024 participating in that effort, participating from a leadership standpoint as well. And I think it's probably some of the finest work that I've seen done in aviation throughout my entire career. Very proud of the people I worked with, very proud of what we came up with, and now really working hard with the Federal Air Surgeon's Office and all the aeromedical professionals at FAA to institute those many changes that will be so helpful to aviators throughout all sectors of our industry in need of those types of services and those types of instances in life where life overcomes our career and we need someone to help us put things back on an even keel. Very, very proud of that work. As I said earlier, though, much of this year was taken up with the finalization of the language on the FAA reauthorization bill with its its passage then in early summer, and we've spent the remainder of the year working closely with FAA and congressional representatives on implementation of those things that pertain to flight training. And that will be an ongoing process into 2025 as well. It may take us every bit of another 2 or 3 years to fully implement all of those recommendations, but we will be here and we will be on guard to do that, working forward for our industry and working forward for you, the flight training provider. Remember, our organization is different than many others in that we are bottom-up driven. The ideas for our agendas and the things that we work on come from you. It's not set by some other group or one individual or two individuals. Literally, we solicit the input from you, the industry, and then we take that to the regulators or the legislators, whoever it may be, and say, these are the changes the people doing the work say need to be done to make flight training better, safer, and more efficient in our country. And that's what we'll continue to do with the implementation of these recommendations and legislative fixes. Now, earlier in 2024, in the late spring, early summer, we also partnered with the folks at Halldale Media at the World Aviation Training Summit, WATS, that's held every year in October. Last year, we did what was to become the first ever ab initio stream to run coincidentally with that aviation training summit that's highly focused on airlines and business aviation. The success of that was so overwhelmingly positive, and the feedback was so very overwhelmingly positive, that now in 2025 it will be in earnest, a full-on 3-day ab initio stream dealing with all of the major issues facing flight training, particularly ab initio, but all of flight training from top to bottom and left to right. We think this will become the one go-to conference that everyone in the training industry comes to each year. Now, you may attend other conferences, but this will be the one you're not going to want to meet, because the voices that will be there presenting, the people who will be there on panels as experts and others, will be the folks that you want to hear from and that you want to interface with to make sure your voice is heard. And we're excited about what's coming up in 2025 for WATS. And more about that later, probably on this channel and also on our website and other social media. Now, the ongoing legislative agenda since the FAA reauthorization is currently in play. There are other things that were not able to be held within that particular vehicle, other issues that have to travel through other committees and other legislative vehicles. Trust and know we are operating on all of those fronts simultaneously, and we're excited about a couple of things we've got going on that we're very close to being finished. Leading into the fall, and then with the legislative calendar being what it is, we have held all of that in abeyance until the early first quarter of 2025. And we'll re-engage both the Congress and the Senate to pick up where we left off. We have been assured by both those houses of government that this particular issue I'm speaking to is very, very important, and they want to see something done, if at all possible, in 2025. Again, more about that coming up. Now, most importantly, and the one thing I wanted to finish up with here is this. We just recently, in the last week, got the announcement public from the FAA about the 141 Modernization Task Force. We've been working with the FAA on this for several years and working behind the scenes throughout last year and this year to get to a point where it would either be an ARC or what will now be this industry-wide listening session and working groups, which we feel very strongly will be successful. It's just taken time to get there. We were really teed up and ready to go in the spring, but for a lot of different reasons, it had to wait until later. Well, that's now been announced, and it's also out on all of our social media channels and website. I'd like for you to take a look at that. That is going to give our flight training providers, whether you're Part 61 or 141, doesn't matter. You have a voice now into how to modernize, how to streamline, how to make 141 the kind of regulatory it needs to be to support our industry going forward and into the future. And that will take up in earnest during the first quarter. The schedule of meetings and locations, both in-person and hybrid virtual, are on the FAA's website. And you can look at the link on our website to get you there, or you can go to faa.gov. But we're very, very excited about this. And we're asking you, if you're involved in flight training in any way or have an interest, to be a part of that. You're welcome to come. All you got to do is click on the invite and sign up, say you'll be there. We'd love to see you in person. If you can't do that to travel where we're going to be, certainly try to be there in a virtual hybrid capacity, because your voice is important. And we will have working groups and subgroups and other committees throughout the task force working on individual issues. The goal: to make flight training in America better and safer and modernized, and remove the impediments to throughput, remove the barriers and the policy things that keep us from being better at what we do, and the ability to embrace new and emerging technologies and ways of teaching students for better student outcomes. You're going to want to be a part of that. Our role, reaching out to other organizations and asking them to partner with us and partner with the FAA on this process, because we think it's going to be highly successful, and we're really, really excited about that. Now, don't think we're not going to be involved here on Capitol Hill either. We will continue our legislative agenda. We will continue having meetings with you, and we will continue to reach out and make sure that you're well aware of all that's going on. Lastly, I'll say that another thing we're very proud of is we're just about ready to kick off a model pilot mental health peer support program for general aviation and specifically the flight training industry. We want to partner with other industry groups and other aeromedical professionals, which is already underway. And we believe here in January of 2025, we will be rolling that out in earnest to share with the rest of the industry free of cost. Once we get this set up and the process is underway, we'll make it available to people to use throughout the industry and to be able to modify to suit your individual application if you need. But it's important that from general aviation to the airlines and beyond, we have a continuous stream of peer support counselors and folks within all of our businesses who are keyed into the issues of mental health and life stress and how that affects pilots and aviators, so that we can make it safer for everyone. The system safety is enhanced. And again, from me, you'll hear it, a rising tide will gather all boats, right? Take care of our folks and they're going to take care of us. 2025 is going to be an aggressive year, and it's going to be a fun year. I'm looking forward to it. If you want to help out, let us hear from you. Go to our website, drop us a line. If you'd like to donate to our efforts to make sure we keep the wheels turning, the lights on at night, remember what Thomas Wolfe said, no bucks, no Buck Rogers. So help us hear from you, and I'm looking forward to it. So take care. Have a great new year. We'll talk to you soon. Good day.